Hello everyone, this is Jose here. We're about to start the session in like 20 seconds. So as always, a quick sound check. If you could type, we have already many good mornings and hellos on the chat box. So if you could type just like, yes, we hear you, sound is okay, something like that, then that would tell me that you hear me and we are ready to start, okay? So please confirm that for me when you have a second, so that way we can begin. Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. Very good, very good. Well, I love it, guys. Okay, we are starting the session. I can feel the very, very positive energy that you guys carry with yourselves, which is great. And it's also obvious we all have a passion for trading, okay? And this is time to trade, okay? So good morning all if you're in the States. Good afternoon if you're in Europe. If you're in Asia, like I am, it's evening hours, so hello as well. And let's begin, my friends, okay? So today is 28th of May, 2019. My name is Jose Blasco. I'll be your guide. And today we are running an AutoUFOs get-together short-term session. So today it's all about intraday trading. We're going to be looking at the futures markets. We're going to be looking at the Forex markets as well. Since last weekend, we had a sharpening session on Forex. If you haven't seen it, I believe it's important that you watch it, okay? Even though some of the things you may know it already, it's always good to have a little refresher just to make sure that we speak the same language as we conduct trading sessions together, okay? So again, since now we are properly exposed not only to the futures markets, but also to the Forex markets, and we're gonna be using the same methodology no matter what we trade. It's all about the UFOs and understanding the side in which you should be when you trade. Should you be long? Should you be short? Should you do nothing? And manage your emotions. Okay, I received a very nice email from Bojan today. Thanks for that, Bojan. It was very nice to see that you are having those realizations as you are trading, and many things are clicking. Okay, and this definitely denotes the hard work that you are putting into it. So again, way to go. That's how you become a trader. Okay, so good job there. In any case, let's begin our session. And before we start, we always have the disclaimer, so let's do it. So the following videos, clips, and demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstrations. Good, so session, ready to go. We also have Trading View ready to go. Okay, so very quick explanation of the workspace I'm going to be using today and the time frames I'm going to be using today, so we are efficient doing what we do. So beginning with Trading View, I'm going to be using currencies. The currencies that I'm going to be using are going to be listed here on my watch list window. Okay, so basically we're going to start with the majors and then we'll look at a few cross pairs as well if needed. If not, we'll stick to the majors because of liquidity. And we're going to be dealing with common time frames, and the 60 would be combined with the 8-minute 8 range. If you don't have customizable time frames on TradingView because you're using a basic plan instead of the Pro, then you would use the 5 or the 10. Okay, and then with the 240, we will use the 21-21. And if you don't have customizable time frames, again, you would then use 15 and 100. Okay, so these are the time frames I will be using with Spot Forex, and I will be doing that with TradingView, where one of my tabs, as you can see on the upper part of TradingView, one of my tabs is pointing at the 60-minute time frame above for trend identification, so I know the side of the market in which I should be, and then I'm looking at the 8 minutes together with the 8 range, which those are going to be my entry time frames. Okay, if I was to use the next tab, which is the combination 240 with 21. Again, I'm still an intraday trader if I do that and will plan those trades, but those trades are likely to last for longer, okay, which is absolutely fine. So we're going to be futures markets. I'm going to be looking at the two markets we have been looking, for a while now, which is the S&P futures and the NQ, which is the NASDAQ. And you can see I got two tabs. And they are set up in the same fashion, where the bottom part is my 15 firm. This would apply for the S&P or the NASDAQ. This has to do with the set of time frames, okay, that we covered some time ago, okay, where we said if you're going to be using the 15-minute time frame as a common time frame for the S&P and the Nasdaq, which are right here, then you would combine it with the 2-minute time frame and share bars and tick charts of those particular values, okay? Obviously, as you probably remember, in the case of future, every market, 87 shares, 610 tick bars, 87 is 2584, and it's not 610, it's 1597 because it's a different market. So I'm going to deal with different workspaces per market. Where with TradingView, back to TradingView, I'm going to be using one tab for the 60 and the 8, and the other tab for the 200, 40, and 21, and I will just keep switching currencies using my watch list on the right, but nothing will change when it comes to time frames. Okay, guys? So that is the structure that we're going to be using, and I plan to be a little in the intense side, if that's okay for me to say it, a little bit intense when it comes to identifying trades today and executing. Okay, so be ready to work with me on that. Okay, because probably it's gonna be a little bit fast pace. If I was to move at a way too fast as a pace and I just lost you, make sure you don't remain quiet. Just type it on the comments box, and we'll repeat. I will slow down so everybody gets it. Okay, but basically what I'm trying to say is that my intention will be to move at the fastest pace at which you allow me, so we can identify the greatest amount of trades as possible while you set the pace. Okay, that's the goal. And again, this is teamwork. Okay, so you guys ready to execute those trades? Of course, you decide if you want to use paper money, real money, and what's the size. But I will be providing parameters of the trades, which I will be executing on my side as well. Okay, good. So let me read the chat box. Dehide, I may have to move to Singapore so I can trade the London Forex sessions without getting up at 2 a.m. Well, you know what? It's a nice place where to be. If you need any advice, let me know. Emotion, absolutely. Thank you for teaching us and the process. Yes, absolutely. Emotions are so important, isn't it? Managing the emotions. Dirk, all frozen here and no sound. Would you guys mind to confirm if sound is okay, or is there any problem? Everything looks good on my side. Okay, I can see a couple of you commenting. Is it happening to all of you, or it's been just something temporary? Let me know if it's not good, guys, okay? Okay, got it. So not sure what may have happened. It seems we need to wait 21 minutes to trade. We can trade anytime because we are dealing with 24-hour markets or almost 24-hour markets in the case of futures. So you can trade anytime is good. Okay. Now, the beauty of doing the get-togethers at this time is that we do it right in front of the market open. And what's the beauty of doing that? Well, the beauty of doing that, especially if you agree with my style of trading, is that everything starts moving quite quickly. In most cases, okay, we've seen days as well where the market open could be a little disappointing. That may happen too. But most of the times, normally you have a peak in volatility, you have an injection of speed of movement, and as a trader, we are ready to catch the move and profit from it. And personally, I love it because if I'm right, I profit nicely quickly, and if I'm wrong, I get stopped out quickly as well, which allow me to replan a new trade very quickly. So personally, I like it. Now, that's my style. In certain cases, some of you may be more conservative, which is absolutely fine. And you may want to wait 10, 20 minutes after the market opens, and then you begin trading normally in a condition which is a little more quiet. Okay, so this is a little bit about your own trading psychology, personality, etc. Okay, but again, pretty ideal, at least based on my style, to take those trades right around the open when the market allows to do so. Okay, and when the market allows us to do so, another way to say that is when the trade setup meets our rules. Okay, that's the key, to meet the rules. Okay, so what do we have? Okay, well, let's begin with the S&P. Okay, so we are looking at the S&P. Okay, and what do we have? In the 15-minute time frame, we have the prior close. Okay, remember we ignored the last candle. Okay, so the prior close took place above the average, so we are in an uptrend. But notice how, even though we are in an uptrend, it shows red. So we have to be careful because we are in an uptrend that is weak. Okay, and an uptrend that is weak may become strong or may reverse. Okay, so that's why we need to be careful. And basically being careful in this case, I remember in some early stages of my education, there used to be this market analyst that always said, just be careful. And in my mind, I was always thinking, what do you mean be careful? It's either you take the trade or you don't. So how are you careful? How can you be careful, right? Well, basically being careful in this case has us set targets closer to price. So we get out earlier, because a trend that is not strong is less likely to remain. So we want to have our targets be nearer. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say be careful. Okay, because in the end, as I said, it's all about following the rules. Okay, so we have a weak uptrend. Okay, so if let's plan for the target. So in a weak uptrend, planning for the target will be done on the same time frame. In this case, 15. Okay, and by the way, 3 minutes from now we'll have a new close. So we will see if the trend is still weak or not. Okay. But if we were to take this long, in that 15-minute time frame, notice how the next UFO will be located at 28.37. Okay, so 28.37, this is where the target would be, final target for this trade. Okay, so basically we got 5 points of room for the market to go. Again, it's not a target that is located too far. Okay, and that's okay because we don't have a strong trend. I wish I could have the target located very far away, but I don't want to set my target far away just because I want it to be without respecting what the market objectively gives me, right? And what the market objectively gives me, we just discussed it, we have a weak uptrend. Okay, so we need to have a target located close by. In this case, 28.37, as we have just identified. Now, what else? Well, for our entry, we're going to be using the 3 time frames above with the UFO, the 2 minute, the 25.84, and the 15.97. Okay, but we don't want to use any UFO. I mean, all UFOs have probability on their side when it comes to producing a bounce. But the ones that are likely to produce a bounce, which will produce the best result and continue the trend, are the UFOs located around 28.30 because of concepts that we covered before. Apart from on-field orders, you may have new sets of on-field orders added to the market that are not in the market yet, right? So again, back to old lessons that we covered in the past, isn't it? So 28.30, okay, do we have anything here? Well, around 28.30, I got nothing on the 2 minute. Around 28.30, I got nothing on the share bar. Around 28.30, I got nothing on the tick chart. So at this moment in time, as we speak, I don't have an opportunity for an entry. I know the trend condition I have. I know the side of the market in which I should be. I know where to take profits if I was to be given an opportunity to enter. But at the moment, I don't have it. Okay, I don't have it. I mean, we got something now that just formed here as we speak, around 31.75. Okay, and less than a minute from now, the bottom chart will update, and when the bottom chart updates, if we were to have a value much greater, 31, okay, so we could now plan on the trade. Okay, now we could plan on the trade because now that average does line up with this UFO that was not there a minute ago, now is there, and also the one on the left that was not there and now is there. What I do is make sure I got two contracts as a quantity. The entry is gonna be of this box, okay, which is 75. Actually, let me see, the one here on the top is higher. So since it's blue, it's gonna insert my order, and now actually very nice because automatically my stop target is gonna be 28.37, which is just 1 tick higher. Okay, so this, my friends, is the trade. So we are in the trade right now. If you guys are with me in the trade, let me know in the comments box. It'll make me happy to know what you're doing. So please share with me if you are in the trade. And now, again, classical price movement right before the market opens, which is a little bit on the slow side. And you may have heard me say that before. I love this. Okay, I love it because now, yeah, we gotta wait for a little bit. It's a little slow moving, but now in 15 minutes or less than 15 minutes, the market will open, and that's when we expect a push. Is that making sense? So therefore, again, these trades, I just explained it earlier, are trades that I normally like very much. Now, let me make a comment about the reactive timeframes here below, okay? Because if you are a little bit less aggressive, if you want to be a little more, let's say careful, just to use a simple word, okay? So what you may want to do is observe the two timeframes in the bottom part, okay? Observe them until one green UFO forms. At this moment in time, we got nothing green form. Okay, so we are purely relying on the trend, on the UFOs above, which is perfectly fine. Okay, but at the same time, if you want to be a little more conservative in the sense of waiting for a bit more evidence, you will want to observe the reactive timeframes below and wait for the green UFO to form and then take the trade, because a green UFO forming in the 610 share bar or the 377 tick bar would be the proof that tells us, yes, you are right, the unfilled orders you were expecting are there, here is the evidence, okay? So at the moment in time, okay, I am in, which is fine. If some of you are not in, you could certainly be reactive to the trade and plan entering the reactive time frame, okay? The price to pay to do that is that you may get filled at a higher price than my price. I got filled at 31.75. If a green UFO forms, price may have moved a little higher to 25. Well, that's the price to pay to get more evidence. Is that making sense? Remember, we are dealing with probabilities and we don't have a crystal ball. It's all about probabilities, and probabilities have a price to pay, which is the more probabilities you get, normally the later to the party you go, right? And if you are too late to the party, then you have too much risk and too little reward. So where is the balance? Well, it really depends in the end on who are you as a trader, okay? So I think that this takes care of explaining the trade setup that we have in our hands. Let me take a look at the comments box to see your questions. Yeah, Andrea, very business-minded, as always, isn't it? Tax-free on capital gains, an amazing advantage there. Bojan, you're in at 31.25, okay? So you went in with a little better price than me. Got it, perfect. Good job. So again, waiting for the evidence, guys. We didn't have the evidence yet on the reactive time frame. Again, we need to be a little patient at this time of the day, right before the market open, okay? Let's say, for example, by the way, you tell me, hey, wait a minute, I missed the trade. I'm not too comfortable with the reactive time frames, whatever. So this could be a great opportunity for you to practice using a paper money account. Okay, maybe this is the time for you to use a demo account and do this simulated instead of real. I am a fan of real trading instead of simulated, because then you are not only growing your account, you are also improving your mindset, the trader's mindset. Okay. So I am a big fan of trading real, but at the same time, when you are testing something new, for example, if you have never done anything with reactive timeframes, I am also a big fan of using simulated accounts for those initial tests, if you wish, okay? So here's your opportunity. If you miss the trade and you are not comfortable now using this trade with real capital, could be an opportunity to quickly switch from live trading to simulated and join the trade with the group, so you are in, okay? So Lisa, we are in at 21.5, Andrea in at 31.5, D-Hyde at 31. Wonderful, guys, wonderful, love it, teamwork. So we are in, okay, guys? And again, now we are exposed to all the probabilities that are on our side for the trade to work. We are fully exposed to it, okay? And as you can see, the trend still happens to be weak, okay? I should be pointing at the prior candle. The trend still happened to be weak. The close was above, okay? But it's still pointing at red, okay? So the trend still happens to be weak, okay? Till 9 minutes from now, we're gonna have a new close, okay? And look, if we were to have a push to the upside, that push to the upside may change our DMI from red to green. And if the DMI changes from red to green, what happens? Anyone is guessing what I'm thinking? What would happen to the location of the target? Should you leave it at 2837, or maybe we should look for a different target if the DMI was to change? What should we do? What should we do if our trend condition has changed? If you have an opportunity to make a little more money, go higher. Exactly. Okay. And this is not about like, okay, let's move it just because it's better on paper, right? We're going to move it only if the DMI becomes green. Okay. So I want to be ready for this. And therefore, since I got 7 minutes, 8 minutes before the new candle forming, so what I'm going to do is I just switch to the 60-minute time frame. Okay. And now I'm going to activate my UFOs. Okay. I'm going to activate my UFOs, maximize, and notice that the next UFO will be located up there at 4275. Okay, so I got the number. Okay, I don't know if I will be able to use it or not, but I got the number. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to my 15-minute time frame, go back to normal like nothing happened. But if in the following 8 minutes the market was to begin pushing up and the candle was to close above and the bottom DMI was to become green, quickly I would move my target from my final target from 37 all the way to 42.75, which basically would double my profit. Okay, it's another 5 points. Okay, and again, I will not do that based on hope. I will do that based on rules. Okay, so key concept. Okay, anticipating what's coming, ready to act only based on rules. Okay, good. So I'm looking at your answers in the comment box. I'm delighted because all of you are very well focused. You were typing 60 minutes, go higher. Fantastic. Okay, so everybody is prepared. Now, on the reactive time frame, notice how nothing has happened yet. Okay, no new green UFO has formed yet. So for the ones of you that you are waiting for the reactive time frame to give you permission to enter, you still need to use patience. Okay, patience still needs to be used. So we are professional traders, and therefore we are disciplined. And even though sitting on your hands is not fun, that's how you make money too. Okay, remember, step 1 of our methodology needs to tell us, should you be on the long side, should you be on the short side, or should you be doing nothing, right? That's the first step. So, knowing when not to do anything is also key. And in this case, we have already done what we need to do. Okay, at least with the S&P, we could certainly be looking at the currencies in order to plan an additional trade. Okay, that we can do it. But when it comes to this trade, there is nothing else that we need to do. Okay, so very good. Very good. So guys, I'm going to have a quick look to the NASDAQ, okay, to see what we have. So the NASDAQ has a similar setup. The NASDAQ is showing already a strong trend, okay. We have the average at 24. 24 falls in the middle of this UFO, but this UFO has already been tested, okay. So yeah, so we don't have a trade with the NASDAQ as we speak. You could be in a trade, but not as we speak because the price is already in the UFO. Okay, so since I am in the S&P, I'm just gonna stick with this trade. Okay, wait for the market opens, see if I get stopped out quickly or I start moving towards my targets quickly, and then the moment I reach my safety target and this trade has no more risk, then I will open the door to enter other trades. Okay, could be with the NASDAQ. Some of you, I know you are fans of crude oil, gold, natural gas, Euro futures. Those are markets that you could certainly use as well. Okay, perfect. So 5 more minutes to go with this trade. Okay, so I'm just waiting to see if something is going to show up on the reactive time frame. Okay, so nothing showing up on the reacting time frame yet. Again, don't be desperate. Okay, I know you are not, but again, this is a classical price behavior right before the market open. Okay, we've said that many times. Got it. Got it. Okay, so yes, Bojan, I hear you, my friend. Yeah, Buna, I hear you too. Very good. So again, I mean, in a perfect world, the way you should be doing this, okay, while I'm doing this myself, the way you should be doing this if you're at home, maybe you're using 2, maybe 3 computer screens. That depends on personal preference as well. And, you know, ideally, in my case, I cannot do it because I'm sharing the screen and I can only share one screen at a time. But ideally, you would have, you know, multiple workspaces of TradeStation located in different computer screens. And therefore, you will be able to clearly see when market setups are produced so you can execute them very quickly, okay? And maybe you pick 3, 4, 5 markets that are not correlated. Maybe you pick the S&P, you pick gold, you pick crude oil, you pick the euro, and maybe you pick the 10-year bonds, okay? And what do you have now? You have 5 markets that are not correlated, okay? And now you could be in a very good position, okay? In my case, again, to keep it simple, I'm just gonna stick with the equity index markets, S&P and NASDAQ, and later we'll be moving into the spot Forex as well, okay? So guys, we just had evidence, okay? A new UFO has formed, okay? A new UFO has formed, and the only little issue that we have is that if you enter now with the evidence, you would be buying at 32.5, okay? So again, that's the price to pay to get the evidence. Many times you need to get a worse price, okay? That's trading, okay? It's not ideal, but that's trading, okay? So keep this in mind. Another way you could plan on the trade, 31.5, okay? But you may not get filled because for you to get filled, the price will need to drop down to 31.5. So again, you could use the reactive timeframes in 2 ways. Just enter out of a reaction and you will get a worse price, but you get more evidence and therefore potentially more probability. Option number 2, you know, reset the trade with the new UFO that form as a reaction, and now you will get a better price, but you may not get filled. Okay, so everything in life got pros and cons. Okay, that's why personally I like to enter the trade whenever the UFO lines up with the UFOs in my edge timeframes above line up with the average. Okay, I don't make it complicated for myself. Okay, look, in this case, if you had the entry at 31.5, then you got filled, so you are in. Okay, and good news as well for the trade, and are placing all their important relevant pile of orders for when the market opens to have the market to begin pick up direction in a particular direction. Okay, so we have less than 1 minute, okay, 30 seconds for the market to open. Okay. Down, and the market should define itself quickly and begin picking direction. So let's see if it's gonna be up or down. And let's see if we're gonna end up in a profitable trade. This, to be honest, is not a good sign, and certainly does not allow us to move the target. Okay, so we're gonna stick with the plan, but we have no opportunity to move the target. Okay, so we are now in a situation where the initial move of the market, if that was to be the case. Okay, so in this case, I didn't use, well, 1, 2, 3, I've exited the trade at break-even. Nature of this trade that has been executed right at the market open, you know, I personally want to give myself the opportunity to benefit from that, that particular time of the day, where normally you have this push that will define what's gonna happen next, okay? Now, okay, so just waiting to see what's going to happen here. So we are 3 ticks from our safety target, 2 ticks from our safety target. Is looking good to reach our target, even though you never know until the end. Okay, so we're just going to stick with the plan. Yeah, again, since no UFOs are left here in any place, so we're 1 tick away from the safety target. So that's it. We just reached our safety target. Okay, guys. So yeah, I'm not sure why on my side it's not been executed. It's a little delay on my demo account here. Clearly, visually speaking, I have reached my
order field.
Okay, now, so I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, and also notice how we have now an opportunity to trail stop. Okay, we're gonna be trailing stop here too. We got 31.25, 31.25. So the stop is going to be trailed to 31. Time the market move by X amount of the target, you are supposed to keep moving your stop in that direction when the market moves too far, too fast. Okay, so at this moment in time, I would come in here. So if the market was to come back, I would collect another $75 per contract here, okay? Yeah. Good job, everyone, guys. Good job. Delighted that you're with me on this one. So just playing the patience, okay? You can see that there is a little bit of a fight, okay? That's why we set the target at this price level, isn't it? There was a red UFO in the 15-minute time frame, so you can see price is having certain difficulty to reach the target. But again, we got the trend in our favor, okay? So we're just gonna wait, okay? Unless a new UFO forms, where if a new UFO forms, to be honest, we're gonna be reaching our target, okay? So we're just gonna wait here. Okay, we have this green UFO here in the reactive time frame that may help push the price back up. So we're just waiting. Okay, so four ticks, 3 ticks away from final target. 2 ticks away from final target. We went as close as 1 tick away. 1 tick away, we just hit the final target, my friends. So congratulations, everyone. We just got the first trade of the day concluded, in and out, full profit. Give yourself a round of applause for the job well done. Okay, so that's the way to do it. You can see on my side, for whatever reason, I'm gonna reset my TradeStation, guys, because it seems that my account is having a little problem executing the orders. So I'm just gonna close manually here just to make sure I'm out. Okay, but anyway, we did collect the full profit of the trade. Okay, so again, very good or something like that. If you are trading real, I am pretty positive. It just got the feel on my side. Okay, so we did it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna reset TradeStation. Okay, I'm gonna reset a TradeStation problem to have a reset to avoid any buffering and stuff like that. Okay, nice one. My pleasure, Geneva. And again, it makes me very happy when we do these trades and we have a good result. But it makes me very happy not only because of the good result. This is yourself from that experience to develop your own trader's confidence, and then, like many of you are doing very well, keep practicing at home. In order to be able to develop this ultimate level of confidence as you are doing this also by yourself, apart from doing it, together, okay? Okay, so it seems that we are still having problems with the internet connection, guys. It really feels normal on my side, guys. It's really powerful. So I'm not sure what it is. Okay, I'm restarting TradeStation, so hopefully this will alleviate the problem. And also, dear, keep in mind that because of the time that YouTube takes to broadcast the video stream, normally there is and what you see. So if the delay is 10 to 20 seconds, I'm fine. If I am cutting in and out, then so Lisa, so okay, so look, let's do this since we have limited time. Okay, so I would say let's keep going. Okay, and if things go really uncomfortable on your side, please let me know and I will reset the YouTube stream. That would imply I leave and I come back, and I'll be happy to do that. But if we could avoid it, that would be better to not waste time. Okay, so anyway, what do we have? Let's reassess what we have, okay, before I jump into spot forex as well. What do we have? Okay, well, we need to be careful here because now, and I see your comment, Al, very good comment. Okay, we didn't have the time to move didn't have an opportunity to move the target because the prior DMI was still red. Not only that, the close was actually below the average. Okay, so what our rule is telling us is that we are in a downtrend. That's what the rule is telling us. Okay, probably 6 minutes from now, this candle will close above, and then we will call it an uptrend, but calling it an uptrend already would be kind of speeding, okay? And when you speed, you get tickets, okay? So we are not gonna break the rules because we don't want any ticket, okay? We got the first trade of the day was a profit. Let's not get greedy, and I'm not saying that's your thinking, but let's just keep applying the method. Close below the average, okay, it's telling me downtrend. Price is clearly above the average, okay? So therefore, you know, I have a contradiction. So I'm not gonna force it. I'm just gonna wait until the next candle close, which is 5 minutes from now. And in the meantime, I will be looking at the NASDAQ, okay? Now, with the NASDAQ, we may have something to talk here, okay? Let me see. Yep. Yeah, very good question, Al. Very, very good question. And the DMI is green. So the NASDAQ does meet the rule of being in an uptrend. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at 73.32 as the average price, okay, for us to get into the trade, okay? And again, we also need to count on the NASDAQ coming down will also bring the average slightly down. So even though the average is currently pointing at 32, we may need to enter around 31 or even 30, okay? And what do we have at 30? We have a green UFO, okay? We don't have it here, and we don't have it here. But we do have it on the 2-minute time frame, and therefore we do have a valid entry for us to plan. And the NASDAQ is in a strong uptrend. So I'm gonna step 2, look at my target, okay? And I will look at the target in the 60-minute time frame, not the 15, because the trend is strong. Okay, so I'm moving to the NASDAQ here. So 22.75, okay? So 22.75 is the value for the next red UFO in the 60-minute time frame. And now that I do this, minimize it there, or restore it down, I should say. Yeah, guys, and I am observing now that there is a little bit of an issue with the streaming, okay? Let's keep going, guys. Let's see if we can do this, okay? So we'll have a final target at 74.22, okay? And a potential entry at this price, okay? So now, I'm not gonna place the order yet because in a minute and a half for the average, okay? And this average may move up to, I don't know, 35, 36, okay? It may move up to this level, and therefore, instead of using 31 for my entry, I may end up using, I don't know, maybe I can use this one. Maybe I can use this one, or maybe I have no entry on the NASDAQ. We'll see. Okay, minute and a half before the close, and it's looking like it's gonna close above with green. Okay, so remember, I'm just gonna mention it. We said that the new target would be located at 42.75 using the 60-minute time frame. Earlier, we said 2842.75, okay? And when it comes to entry, we're gonna be looking at somewhere around 32, which the next update is gonna bring this up maybe 35 or something like that. So maybe we can use these UFOs as our entry. I'm not sure yet, okay? But I want to be ready for it, okay? And therefore I wanted to phrase it. So as we have an update of the average in 50 seconds from now, okay, 50 seconds from now, which is now 40, okay, we'll have a new update of the average in 40 seconds from now. So as we have it, I'm gonna be ready to do whatever the methodology has me do, okay? Good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm reading your comments again. Okay, so we had the update, okay? The update is bringing the average to 34. So 34, it's gonna actually be less than 34. If this starts coming down, this will go down a little bit, okay? And it may become 33, you know, 32. So certainly it's looking like this particular UFO could be the one UFO for us, you know, to enter at the most right price, okay? 53.5 to 31.25. Funnily enough, coincides exactly with this one, and that is it, okay? So we're gonna plan a trade, a new trade on the S&P, okay? So looking at, and then I look at the Nasdaq, and then we'll move 33.5, which is the top of the inner circle. Okay, again, I could certainly use the top of the box, the UFO band, but again, because my average is gonna go down, I just want to save myself a couple of ticks. Okay, so I'm gonna go for 33.5. Okay, you can certainly do 75, Dirk. That's absolutely valid. I'm just gonna be a little cheap in this case. Okay. Okay, and very nice, very nice. Entering at this point, I got my stop below the UFO, which is the white zone. I got my safety target, which is 1 to 1, and then I just need now to work on my final target located at 42.75. So I'm just gonna drag it all the way here. Okay, that's it. So I got the S&P trade. Okay, the S&P trade is set up, and now we got 15 minutes to see if this trade is going to happen or not. And then 15 minutes later, actually 12 minutes later, we will reassess if the trade is still valid or not. Okay, so moving to the Nasdaq, what do we have on the Nasdaq? So the new average is pointing at around 38. If the price goes down, the average will go down, and therefore let's think about it like if it's 35, something like that. So do we have anything at 35? Well, we have 35, but only 2 ticks. Now, basically 35 is the bottom part of this UFO, not a good idea. So yeah, so basically 35, I got nothing here. 35, I got nothing there. So basically, we're not going to trade the Nasdaq. We will focus on the S&P for the equity index market. Okay, good. So let's look at Forex. Okay, while we are waiting for this trade to happen. Okay, and I'm going to be looking at Forex. So if the chat box, I would like to ask you to work with me. As I always say, teamwork. Okay, so let's begin. With the euro. Okay, so I'm going to start with the euro. And I'm going to start with a 240-minute time frame combined with the 21. Okay, so the euro is loading. For whatever reason, the chart on the bottom left is having a tough time to load. I'll check that in a minute. So I'll start looking at the 60-minute time frame. Okay, for the euro, which is closing. So the close was 88.9, the average is 89. So it's a downtrend. The euro is in a technical downtrend with a red DMI. So you would be looking to short, but notice how price is above the average. So late to the party, okay? And something is happening to my chart. So I'm just gonna close it because the chart on the bottom left is not loading properly. So I'm gonna reopen it, okay? And by the way, since I'm here, guys, if you are using TradingView or if you are not using TradingView, well, let's say you are not. So if you're not using TradingView, use tradewithufos.com/TradingView, okay? And by doing that, you'll be able to get to the TradingView pricing page if you wish. And from here, you can activate your basic plan, which is free. So now you have free access to TradingView. The moment you have free access to TradingView, you will have a username. The username identifies you. Our username is Tradictive. Okay, so what I would like to ask you to do is to look for people inside of TradingView, type Tradictive. Okay, and once you find us, okay, you can go ahead and click like and follow as we are publishing trades every day, and that way you are updated when that happens. Okay, but that was just a quick thing for me today. So let's get into the charts. Okay, and the charts that I would like to load, first I would like to load the 60-minute time frame combination, so 60 and 8. So I got here on the euro, Mr. Euro. What's happening for the euro? Yeah, so it's really looking like there is a problem with my internet connection, guys. I apologize for that because as you can see, my trading view is not loading properly. So let me close and restart. Yeah, sometimes as traders, you know, we have to be issue or a slowdown on your computer, stuff like that, and that's never fun when it happens. Okay, that's never fun when it happens, but it's important to not to allow it to mess up with your trading emotions, okay, because that would be very problematic. Okay, so anyway, so we have the US dollar CAD. Okay, let's begin with the British pound. So GBP USD, so we have the prior close was, as you can see on the upper part, 26,696. The average was 71. So that means that we are in a technical downtrend. Okay, price is now above. So this market seems to be changing trend. So we're not gonna touch it until the candle closes, which is 8 minutes from now. The Australian dollar is clearly in an uptrend. So prior candle closed above. DMI is green. So we are now, notice how my chart below is still getting frozen here. So yeah, I'm having a problem with the if in the end the connection is not gonna be nice to us, we're gonna have to and take it easy, so it doesn't affect our emotions. Okay, so let's see if the Canadian dollar chart loads. So yes, the chart is loading now. So I'm gonna load the Aussie dollar. Yeah, it's interesting because it's loading everywhere, but not on the chart on the left. Okay, so anyway, so here's what I'm gonna do. So again, the Canadian dollar is, the Australian dollar is in an uptrend with an average located at 69.26. Okay, 69.26 is the average for the Australian dollar. Okay, so as long as I find 26 on either the 8-hour time frame, which is range, and in this case I don't have 26. Okay, 26 is here and it's in the white space. Okay, as long as I got 26 in the 8-hour time frame or the 8 time frame without the R, so I'm just gonna change it. Okay, good. So now the chart is freezing too. So hey, we're having fun, guys. So let me try to reload one more time. The speed of my connection is half a gigabyte. I got 500 megabytes fiber optic bidirectional, like 5 milliseconds of, you know, latency with my first node. I'm fine, but I also noticed that sometimes and I guess it has to do with the time of the day too. I believe you know, there are times where, you know, there is like a peak of users, probably in certain areas of certain cities or whatever it is, and maybe it creates a problem. Okay, so I don't know if this is the case or not, but anyway, so it's looking like it wants to load the time from now. So it loaded the 8R. Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay, so now it loaded. So again, we are looking for 26. Okay, we are looking for 26. Okay, unfortunately, what we've got is not 26. What we've got is 23. Okay, that's what we've got. We've got 23, as you can see right here. Okay, so the Australian dollar that is looking very nice does not qualify. Okay, but what about the Kiwi? Because normally the Kiwi looks very similar to the Australian dollar, so we may have an opportunity. Quick check of the S&P. Okay, so the S&P still looking good for the trade to be taken. Nothing new to be reported. So let's see if the New Zealand dollar is loading. So interesting. Okay, we got the 8-minute time frame on the top. I don't need the 8 on the top. On the top, I need the 1 hour. So interesting how there is a divergence between the Australian dollar and the Kiwi. You can see that this market is below the average, where the Australian dollar is clearly above. They both show green DMI. So certainly those markets are heavily correlated, but it seems that there is a divergence happening right now if you were to compare the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. Okay, so we are not going to be able to plan the trade until the candle closes. When it comes to the Canadian dollar, so we have an uptrend with a green DMI. The average is pointing at 134.60, as you can see. Okay, 60.61 if you were to round up. So 61. When looking at the R time frame, okay, the 8-hour time frame is pointing at 59.9, which is kind of like 60. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay, but what I really need to see is I need this chart to complete its loading process to see if we got anything around 60 or 61 that would qualify as a valid entry. Okay, and so what do we have here? So this particular one is 68. Okay, this is 68, where the bottom one is 58. And that is lining up as well with this 58, where the 60 is kind of somewhere in the middle between 68 and 58. Okay, so we do have an overlap if you were to compare this UFO with this particular UFO, and therefore we do have a valid trade setup with the Canadian dollar to take on a trade. Okay, and it's a trade where the trend is strong. So step 2, I'm going to be looking at setting my target, not using the 1 hour time frame, but the 4 hour time frame instead. If I look at the 4 hour time frame on the Canadian dollar and I click on the show high button to find out where is my next red UFO, so that is interesting, that based on the amount of data that TradingView is loading, there is nothing that qualifies as a UFO above price, even though from current price, I know it's very small, guys, from current price to, if you were to look up, okay, there is stuff above, okay, but nothing of what's above qualifies to the next common time frame, which is day. Okay, so moving to the daily time frame, and let's see if this time the app will identify any UFO for us. Okay, and they are at 144, which is way, way, way higher. Nothing qualifies as a UFO but 144.31. Okay, so this, my friend, it's how do I put it? A very not very common scenario. Okay, not very common scenario, because you're gonna be entering a trade with the Canadian dollar using an 8-minute time frame, which is such a tiny thing, and next thing you know, your target is 144, which is 1,000 pips away from current price. So basically, this is more of a larger time frame trade instead of a shorter time frame trade. Okay, so even though the rules would certainly allow you to take it, realistically between us, it's almost impossible you're gonna get there in one shot. Probably you will have in the 60-minute time frame, which is the time frame that we are trading, isn't it? I just went to the daily to pick the target, but really the time frame that we are trading here is the 60. In that time frame, it's almost impossible to cross the moving average up and down until you get to 144, which is 1,000 pips higher. Okay, so let me put it this way: it's not gonna happen. So since the opportunity is there, certainly I would be very interested in looking at, instead of looking at the combination 60 to 140, I would be very interested to look at the combination, a trade setup that supports the trade I will feel much more comfortable because price is less likely to close above and below the 4-hour moving average than the 60. And therefore, this will allow me to stay in the trade for longer and keep trailing my stop towards that 144, which, let's face it, I don't think we're going to make 1,000 pips profit out of a 4-hour time frame, but now I don't have the probability of being taken out of the trade so quickly, it's much less. Okay, so notice how the beginning of this plan is looking good in the sense that we got a close above the average. Okay, the DMI is also green, so also in the 4-hour time frame we are now beginning to define an uptrend that seems to be strong. Okay, the average is pointing at 134.55. Okay, 134.55. So when looking at the UFOs, take a look at that, we got 54.4, which is certainly 55. So on the 21 range time frame, notice how we have identified UFOs, okay, that basically overlap each other, and those could be very good candidates for us to take the trade. Now, I am also waiting. I'm just gonna, okay, now it's loading. I'm waiting for this US dollar CAD in the 21-minute time frame to load. And again, something is probably happening to my browser, and I will have to reset the browser for this to load faster, because normally it's way faster. Actually, TradingView is very fast. But now it's taking a while, so I'm just gonna wait. So what I would want to see, I mean, I already have a trade here. I'm already telling you we have a trade ready at 54, right? But at the same time, I would want to see UFOs on the 21-minute time frame too, to have an even more powerful trade setup, okay? To have those UFOs around, that 55 area lining up, okay? So let's see if we do have it or we don't, okay? Which it means that I just need to wait a little extra, okay? Because it's still calculating the flying saucers, okay? So we just need to wait. Still loading data. Notice how, even though my mouse is here, notice how in other charts, if I place my mouse, okay, it would allow me to do stuff with the chart, where that one doesn't allow me yet because it's still loading. So I'm just gonna wait, okay? In the meantime, having a moving average located at 34.5. So 34.5, if the price goes down, the moving average will go down a little bit. So it may be something is the value for so we have a trade here. So 40 point something is the value for the average. 40 something falls right in the middle of this UFO, as you can see. If price goes down by a little bit, okay, the UFO, in this case, I would recommend you, I'm not gonna set it right now, but I would recommend to use the reactive timeframes in this case to be able to have a little bit more certainty on the trade, given the fact that you're entering. What bothers me of entering low is not entering low, actually that's nice. It's that the red circle that represents the greatest quantity of unfilled orders, that green circle, that inner circle, it's basically slightly above to where you were entering. In other words, if you were to enter the trade, you enter at a price point where you have less unfilled orders left. And, we are not a fan of that. So you could use a reactive time from here to mitigate. Look at the S&P. Yep. So back to the Canadian dollar. So we have the trade setup, okay, and it's valid, guys. The trade setup is valid because look, if you look at the 21R, you have 54 and 52, okay. So you have 54 and 52. That's one UFO, okay. If you were to place the weekend, when we talked about Forex, we talked about a rule. Okay, we said that for stops we add 5 pips. So if 52 is the bottom part, 52 minus 5 becomes 47. 47, it's inside the next UFO. So those two UFOs need to be taken into consideration like it's one big UFO. Okay, that's how we're gonna deal with this. Okay, so what are you gonna do? Now you look at 44. right? And if you look at 44, notice how 44 is actually 44. So what do? You're gonna merge those two UFOs with that UFO. So you will place the stop at 37. Okay, that will be the location for the stop, 37. Okay, which is below this one, which is below that one too. Okay, so I'm gonna have to scroll up to see what we have. Okay, scroll up to see what we have. Okay, and the lowest I got here goes to 39, where that one is 37. Okay, so we're gonna place it at 37 minus 5 because it's a stop, so it will go minus 5 below, and that's gonna be 32. Okay, so the trade that we're planning with the Canadian dollar will have a stop located at 134.32. That's gonna be the stop. The entry, okay, the entry will be set by our 34.54, which is the highest green UFO out of this collection of 3 UFOs, 2 that are in the 21-hour chart and 1 that is in the 21-minute chart. So the entry is going to be located at 54. So we are talking about 134.54. So let me write this down. Let me put it here together using a long position tool. Okay, so I'm just gonna click here where the entry should be. Okay, and it's giving me this little tool here. Okay, and what I'm gonna do with this tool is I'm gonna bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Actually, I'll do a better job if I do it there. Okay, so bring it down to 32. Here we go, 31.9, good enough. So by doing that, I got 22.8 pips of risk. So what I'm gonna do now is move the target to 22.8 pips of risk. 22.9, good enough. Okay, so I got my entry, stop, and target 1 or safety target. Okay, that's the beginning part of the trade. And now, what else am I gonna do now? So I'm gonna right click to clone it. So I'm gonna create another order. Okay, so I just clone it. And let me see, it's right there. And I'm just gonna move it next to it so they are next to each other. Okay, so they're next to each other. And now what I'm gonna do with the second one is I'm just gonna move it all the way to where my target is, where my final target, you may remember earlier with the Canadian dollar, we activated the UFOs. We concluded that there were no UFOs in the 4-hour time frame, and we ended up finding in the daily time frame where the next UFO is, which is 144. You remember that? So 144.31. Okay, 144.31. That's where the final target is. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom in so I can get one of those. And to be honest, this is gonna be delicate because I made my boxes too small. Okay, so now I can see the upper dot. That's the one I need to grab. I'm just gonna move the target up. Okay, I just made it a little complicated for myself. Okay, but basically you will now start moving that target up until it reaches that price point of 144.31. Okay, 144. here we go, 144.31. Okay, guys, so I have it. Okay, so basically I got 2 orders in the system. Okay, and I know if you are not using TradingView for a long time, doing all of this visually, it's a little busy on your screen. At the same time, if you do this 5-10 times and you get used to it, you will really appreciate how easy this is. Okay, so now to place the order, you would just right click. Okay, and now you would just go ahead and place the order. Actually, I don't have it active, so let me go ahead and okay, I'm just gonna connect to paper trading so you can see me do it. Here we go. So you would just click on the box and then you would create a limit order. This would open the order window. Okay, and from here you just need to specify the risk that you want to take. Normally I would use 0.5% risk with the first long position tool, and then 0.5% risk with the second one. So you basically have 2 bracket orders, one that is only shooting for the safety target and the other one that is shooting for the final target. Both have 0.5% risk with the stop in the same location. Therefore, both in the end together would provide 1% risk if that's the risk you want to take, which obviously that's going to be your personal decision. Okay, so here's the trade. Okay, so let me re-summarize it. Okay, so we said final target, okay, is 144.31. Safety target is actually I didn't calculate the safety target. Okay, so let's do it. Let's calculate the safety target. My mistake, guys. I did it automatically because the tool on TradingView allows you to do it more mathematical. So 34.54, that was the entry, minus 134.32, that was the stop. That's 22.2 pips. If I project this above the entry, which is 134.54, that would be 136.76. That would be my safety target. Okay, that makes no sense. Let me do that again. 54 minus 32, that's 22 pips. 22 plus 54, that is 76. Okay, so it's going to be 134.76. Let me write it down. So final target 144.31. Safety target 134.76. Entry 134.54, and the stop, I'll just write it here. Stop is going to be 34.32. Okay, so that's the trade, my friends. Okay, and if you want to replicate that one on your side, obviously you are welcome to do. As always, you decide if you want real money, paper money. So before we conclude the session, we will I'm just looking at what's going on here. So we just had a close. The close is 34, so still valid. If the price comes to our entry, we're gonna have the average lining up with the UFO, so still valid as an entry. So I guess that some of you are in the trade as well. Okay, so fantastic. Now before we conclude the session, let me take a look at your last comments here. In the trade was applied. Yeah, new green UFO in the ES chart. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, got to run. Got it. Yeah, Bill, a session on the micros, that would be a great idea. Okay, and certainly I would be very, very happy to conduct a session on the micros. We have other topics that we need to cover that I have committed with you guys. So I'll make a note of that. Okay, and that was on my mind as well. But I'll see timing wise when it comes to priorities and so on, how much priority we can give to this particular subject in the sense of covering this subject as sooner as possible. Okay. In any case, Bill, I believe that these particular micros can be extremely useful and powerful for some type of traders, but at the same time, we all need to remember as well that it is a new product, and even though it's showing a great level of liquidity in the early stages of its existence, it is still a new product. Okay, so beyond getting excited, okay, we also need to be careful. Okay, and it's actually healthy that we give that market, let's call it a month or two, to stabilize, so we get to see real liquidity, real trading, and from there we can take a decision. I mean, being the CME, being the S&P, and the key equity index markets, I think that we will have good liquidity and good everything. But at the same time, it is very common when new products are released that market makers begin the life of those products, giving them very narrow spread just to attract liquidity, and then the spreads may not be as good anymore. So maybe 2 months from now we are disappointed about the macros. I don't think so, but we also need to be careful. Okay, so we'll certainly talk about it, but for now this is what I could say. Okay, so anyway, guys, we are in this trade and we should be concluding the session, but again, I don't want to leave you alone. So we are not taking this trade right before the open. So the time stop rule applies. Okay, we got 1 candle, 2 candle. Okay, we're gonna give this opportunity 2 more minutes, okay, to make us happy and start moving in our direction. And if not, we will apply a time stop. Okay, we will apply a time stop. Okay, notice how there is a pretty major challenge to this moving average. Okay, and for now it's okay. I mean, it's part of trading, but at the same time we're not gonna be hopeful. Okay, so notice how a new 2-minute candle is just forming as we speak. So 1, 2, 3. This is the third one, and this may imply in little amount of time, less than 2 minutes, that we may need to close the trade unless it begins moving towards the target, and it better moves soon. Okay. So I believe that we still have 1.5 minutes. So let's see if this 1.5 minutes is enough to push price. You can see there is a challenge, a little bit of a fight. Yeah. So we are now 1 minute, okay, away from that candle close on the left. And again, it is really looking like this trade will not achieve safety target before that. So, well, yes, I am, because given the distance, okay, it's no way we're going to reach the safety target. I'm just, look what's there, red UFO ready to push the price down, like it did. Okay, so, and again, since we are not gonna reach the target, so basically I took those $50 somewhere in here. Okay, so see, we just made tiny little profit. Okay, that one is nothing special, but again, we are managing the risk, and this is part of our job. Okay, so good job, my friends. Okay, and you certainly have the remaining part of the trading session open for you to and met your goals. In any case, it's been my true pleasure to be your guide and to be here and all together. And yeah, that would be the plan. Okay, so just reviewing the tech. Yeah, new green UFO. Yeah, but again, well, the Nasdaq was looking stronger. Okay, all the time. Look, I'm gonna make one last comment, if that's okay. I mean, I know I said goodbye already, but I just love this, and it's an important comment. So the Nasdaq is looking stronger. You're absolutely right, Lisa. It was looking stronger all the time. You may even remember 1 hour ago, it was already closing above the average where the S&P was closing below. So it was showing strength all the time. But you know what? Strength. Sometimes too much strength is not good, because what happens is that your UFOs are too low and price never comes back to your UFOs. Okay, so the S&P was showing less strength, but we have executed 2 trades and both trades ended up in a profit. Okay, so thank you S&P, even with your lack of strength. So again, the key is just to apply the rules. Okay, to apply the rules, to not to have favorite markets, to not to have too many rules to bias you to trade one market instead of another. Just follow the rules. That's it. Okay, very good, guys. Again, super pleasure. See you soon. See you on Thursday. Bye bye, everyone.